So you've been out foraging and you've come home with lots and lots of autumn treasures. You've got them home and you don't quite know what to do with them next. Well, I'm Julie Davis from Julie Davis Flower Workshops and Flower Start, the online flower arranging class. I'm going to show you how to store those lovely autumn treasures and use them for decorative purposes before you revamp them and use them again for Christmas. So first of all, I have collected loads of autumn leaves, and I had this massive idea I was going to create a lovely display with the leaves, and it never really happened. I didn't really want to throw the leaves away because it's lovely to be able to bring them inside, and because you brought them in out of the wet, they're just sort of in suspended animation. And they're not going to decay, they're just going to dry out and go crunchy over time. So what I thought I would do is display them in a glass jar. It's probably a biscuit jar, I think, with a lid that seals on. And these lovely leaves, which have still got their lovely yellowy autumn colour, and I particularly picked all the leaves that were yellow. It wasn't just a massive pick of random leaves. And they've dried out on the side, so that's the key issue here, is if you're going to display your leaves in a pot, they need to be absolutely dry, because once you've got them in the pot, if there's any bit of moisture there, there's going to get condensation in the jar and they're going to start to rot off. So that would be a really quick and easy autumn display. Just enjoying your leaves in a jar on the side. And I've done the same thing here with some mini pine cones that I've been collecting. Again, I could have just kept them in a drawer ready to use at Christmas time, but I thought I would make more decorative effect of them and have them in this little jar here. And in fact, this is a coffee jar, so I've soaked the label off, and there was just a tiny bit of glue stuck to the edge. So I got a table knife and I just nicked away at the glue to make sure I could have a nice smooth finish. And that's the key if you're displaying in glass, to make sure your glassware is really clean and gleaming and isn't covered in dust and dirt. And in this jar, I thought I would put some bits of wood. So we went to a local woods and they had chopped some trees down for management purposes, and the logs that they cut, the wood was starting to fall off. So I've collected that, and I thought I would use it for something. I'm not quite sure what just yet. But in the meantime, the smaller pieces, I can slide into the jar and display them in my little grouping like that. And then I've got this lovely jar here, sort of a tiny bell jar over a glass dish. And I like the idea of just taking my best pine cone and putting that in there. So I'm keeping all the autumn tones here. There's nothing Christmassy in it. There's nothing green in it. And it's just really embracing the season for where we are at the moment. It isn't quite Christmas yet. We're quite clearly still in autumn. And then the other thing I do is when I'm using flowers in my arrangement, roses in particular, I do like, I can't bear to throw them away. So I do keep them when they've gone dry. And quite often I do keep my flower arrangements. Well, you might think they're dead, but I think they're lovely and dried and beautiful. And I can put those into a little pot here. So this is a Kilner jar with its fastening. Again, these are absolutely bone dry, so they're not going to rot in here. They might, with handling, they will become more fragile and they'll crumble away, but I'm not going to handle them anymore. And then you can start to put together a little display on the side, moving the pots around to how you think it looks best. I've got here some fennel that I cut recently when I went foraging, and you've probably seen my little video on that about how I displayed it. And then a topiary tree here made out of hydrangea heads, and a lovely autumn dory. So that'll all sit on my side, embracing the moment that it's autumn. I can see I've got a candle here on the edge distracting me, and I could swap in as we get closer to Christmas that I might want to put my candle on my little pot there and perhaps have my pine cone underneath at the edge. So slowly as you get towards Christmas, it can start to evolve as a display, and you can change it up and morph slowly into the Christmas period. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and I shall see you another time.